Don't let my wife see. Oh dear. I work in a small, locally owned toy shop in a little college town. However, we have a lot of down-to-earth people and families. Couple comes in with 3 kids, and immediately the kids go crazy, wanting to show their parents every single toy in the store. It's a small store, but is broken into 3 distinct sections. Rooms connected by hallways. We have a card rack next to the cash wrap that has all sorts of cards. As the wife is being dragged by her kids around the store, the husband comes up to me and quietly goes, "Don't let my wife see. We are big Star Wars fans," and slides me this card, hopefully there's a photo, and cash to pay for it. I quietly make small talk with him about the weather and ring him up. I finish just in time as his wife and kids walk back around and grab their dad to go beg and ask for toys. I'm chatting with the mom and she sees a card on the rack that says, "Oh, this would be perfect for my husband, but don't let him see," and slides me cash, finishes the transaction and winks. It's the exact same card. They finish their shopping, purchase a few toys for their 3 kids and walk out, both chuckling to themselves about how clever they are. Aw, geez, guys, this is the best post I've ever had on Reddit, ever. It made me so happy to share this with y'all. Have a bomb-ass day. I will. Hey, you're my true love. That is adorable that they both think they got each other good, but in a good way, obviously. Could you bag my groceries as heavy as possible? Why did you want me to do that? I worked as a bagger at a small family-owned grocery store while I was in high school. One day a man came through the checkout with a cart full of groceries. Me, paper or plastic? I'd like double-bagged paper, and I'd like you to make each bag as heavy as you can. Sure thing! A bit of a strange request, sure, but anything that broke up the monotony of the day was welcomed. I managed to load his entire cart into 3 fairly heavy bags and bring them out to his car. In case you're wondering, I just had a fight with the wife and it's my turn to pick up the groceries. It's also her turn to unload the car. Oh, now that's the type of petty argument, well, not really solving, that I'd like to be at some time in my life. Oh, that's just the cute kind of evil, you know, not really too much to worry about there. So 3 preteens came into the store with their mom. Oh, dear God. A mother just came into my very small Why are they all so small? With her 3 preteen kids. Normally, this spells disaster. However, these kids each had a couple of 20s and thoughtfully looked through the items in the store before selecting something, bringing it up to the register, buying it with the money from their pockets, and being extremely polite. As they left the register, the mom told the kids, "Make sure you save your receipts so we can budget tonight." One of the kids replied, "I always keep my receipts in the most polite way possible." Good on that mom for teaching their kids the value of money and financial planning. Just wanted to share because unlike most of the dross that comes through, they made my day genuinely better. I always expect these stories to end horribly. I mean, I do too. That's just kind of how the internet works, right? We can no longer issue cash refunds. Why not? Our store was liquidating to shut down and we were in our final days. We were no longer giving refunds on goods that customers had simply changed their mind on. It was incredibly stressful and customers were being outright rude despite the fact that everyone they were dealing with was being made redundant in days. One day, a chap came in and asked if we could refund a suitcase he bought and changed his mind on. He swapped it for a few other things, but he was still short by about 10 quid or so. I prepared myself for today's shakedown and told him I was very sorry he couldn't have any money back, but we were still exchanging if he wanted something to the value, or rather, if he wanted something to... I read that right. If he wanted something to the value. Okay, whatever. Just a missing word, not a big deal. He started piling sweets, biscuits, cakes, etc. onto the counter and asking if they added up to the difference. Eventually, we were still about 10p short. I told him we weren't quite there yet, but we didn't have anything for 10p, so it was the best I could do. His response? "I think you'll have trouble enough eating all of that. Cheerio!" And off he went, leaving me with a giant pile of free food. Closing the store was an incredibly stressful time, but I'll always remember that friendly dude. I do appreciate how many of these aren't inherently evil. Won't buy me a few sodas? Wait, what? Excuse me? I just started my shift about a half an hour ago. Some older guy got mad at me for not buying him sodas after he marched for 5 hours through snow and blistering wind all uphill to come to our specific store. So I arrived. The girl I was replacing hopped out as soon as I was in to get some trash cans changed before she left. I'd barely put my stuff down when this dude comes in, wanders around the store for a minute or two, and comes to the counter to rummage through his bag and curse a bit. I just walked all the way here from Town B and forgot my damn wallet. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry about that. That sucks, but it happens now and then. Yeah, well, it's hot as hell and I'm getting a few sodas to take back. I'm sorry, but I can't give away free drinks. He immediately snatched up his bag and is it glowered or glowered? You know what, it doesn't matter. at me because how dare I say no, right? Yeah, well, I wanted you to buy me them, you freaking a-hole. And then he stormed off, nearly shoving the lady behind him aside in his retreat. Now, I do feel bad for him about the wallet. We've all been there. But we can't give you free product because you forgot your wallet. No business is gonna do that. Plus, cursing out the staff ain't gonna make them want to bend the rules for you. I mean, yeah, you catch more flies with honey than with being an asshole, or however the saying goes. As for this whole thing about I walked here from Town B, said town is across the river. It's about a 20-minute walk from our store to Town B, which isn't so bad when it's nice out. Right now, it's barely 60 Fahrenheit. Warm, but not exactly as hot as it. Oh, dude, that's a gorgeous day. That is so nice. 60? Oh, that's the best day. There's also 4 other gas stations and convenience stores between us and the bridge, and then 2 more on Town B's side beside the bridge. So, like, you had plenty of options between home and here if you were gonna buy a soda. It's not as if we carry any special flavor that no other store has that will cure cancer and grant you immortality. Look, as an autistic man, sometimes I just get really loyal to one location, even if it's annoying as hell for me to go to. I am weird. Well, heck, he already tried this at all the other stores between you and the bridge. They told him no, too. It was easier than walking back home to get his wallet, except now he has to. And, you know, the whole being nice will sometimes get you what you want thing. Absolutely, that's not always true. I mean, here's an example, okay? I'll go into Taco Bell sometimes because I just want a Baja Blast. That's it. I just want a Mountain Dew, dude. I don't want any food, right? And just by being nice, by being patient, by being normal, and then sort of giving them a, oh, thank God, when they come up to the counter, when they know all I'm going to ask for is a drink. Seriously, 30% of the time, 40% of the time, they'll just let me have it, okay? It's not a big deal. It's really not, especially since soda is, well, probably the lowest end of the profit margin for a fast food joint. It's, honestly, just be nice. And, you know, don't grab bottled soda because that's a lot more expensive for them to get a hold of. You know, fill it up in a cup. They're a lot more likely to let you have that one. You know, they do that a lot. I'm not kidding. Guy doesn't understand math. Is this guy me? So, this is just a really weird story that happened to me just today. So this guy was buying craft paint and they were 2 for $1, so rang up as 50 cents each. He started arguing with me about the sign that said buy 2 get 1 free, and I told him what he was getting was actually cheaper, regularly 99 cents, so buy 2 get 1 free would be $2 for 3. He asked if I could do both sales and I told him no. Then he decided he didn't want the third one despite the fact it was still cheaper and told me that the signs were misleading or whatever. Wait! Oh no! Oh, I loved retail. Loved it. I mean, technically, I've been doing it a little bit as I've been working at Spirit for fun. I've been having a great time with that, but I'm not really in the habit of working the register. I don't want to touch your money, okay? Glory to Arstotska! I have no idea what that is. But okay. A lady came into my work to sell something using her passport as ID. Something didn't look right. I stared at it a bit before noting that the expiration date was in a slightly different font than the other dates on the passport. I held it up to the light and saw a rectangular outline around the date. I ran my thumbnail over it, and the edges of a sticker came up off the passport. Underneath the sticker, the date had been scratched out. I pulled the sticker the rest of the way off before handing her passport back and explaining to her that we couldn't accept altered, damaged, or expired ID. I guess all that time playing Papers, Please finally paid off. God. Oh, impressive. The only thing more satisfying would be having one of those giant red stamps for it. Entry denied. Next. Oh, I hope I'm never denied entry somewhere I'm going, man. If I flew all the way to Finland and they turned me around and I had to go right back home at my expense, I'd probably just myself. The funniest application form I've ever had. Oh boy. I work in retail and we're currently recruiting some new staff, and I'm the person that reviews applications to decide whether or not to ask them for an interview. Wow, you guys don't use AI for that? One caught my attention today for all the wrong reasons. They mentioned that they're currently unemployed and also unployed, but under previous experience, they put down dates from June to October in a sales associate role, even including a person to contact for a reference. I get trying to make yourself look better on paper to secure an interview or a job, but lies should be believable. I literally can't believe that they put down as previous experience a misspelled name name of the very company they're applying to, and a contact I don't recognize. And I do payroll, so I should recognize every name. I'm tempted to have them interviewed just to ask them about their previous experience. Why not? Should have done it. Who knows? Maybe this person's actually a hard worker anyway. Going out of the way to be unpleasant to retail workers. I can't imagine being that sad. Just got off an 8-hour closing shift and kinda need to vent. During the last hour or so of my shift, a lady walks into the store. I greet her, of course. Hi there, how are you? I don't think she really responded, was just silent, or said fine. Either way, I had acknowledged her presence and made sure to pay attention if she picked up any clothes to try on so I could get her to a fitting room. However, she picked up no product and made her way to the door. Now, I thought the interaction would end there, but she suddenly calls me over to the exit. She passively aggressively tells me if I was really going to let her leave without asking her if she needed help. Shame on you, and just leaves. Needless to say, I was baffled by this and asked my coworker if I was rude or didn't greet the customer, to which she said that she heard me very politely greet them. Perhaps I could have been more attentive and proactive while she was in the store, but I was trying to fix my work email account and she did not seem confused or lost. I guess I'm just baffled that some customers seem to take offense to the strangest things and seem to make problems when there are none. I would have, of course, helped her out and was ready to do so, but clearly, if she needed it, she would, well, you know the type of people. The type of person that thinks that just because you work there, you owe them everything. No matter what, you should be following her around like a lost puppy who only wants to serve and provide. Yes, master, I will help you any way that I can. Do you need a diamond? Would you like me to rub your feet for you? That's the type of service she was expecting. Also, wouldn't surprise me if she just didn't like the look of you, you know? For one reason or another, she just didn't like how you looked. So she thought, well, technically they were attentive, but let me be a bitch as I leave and single you out. Yes. I mean, some customers are just deplorable goddamn people. A collectible 50p. What? Collectible? On mobile, so apologies. Well, you've written quite a bit on there. Before I start, we need some backstory. Here in England, we have 50p coins, and some of them are decorated to celebrate someone, an event, or landmark. These can be quite collectible. Last year, a series of 5 coins was released to celebrate the author Beatrix Potter, and certainly the older generations like to keep them. By far, the most sought-after coin featured a character called Peter Rabbit. Oh, yes. And it wasn't uncommon for people to ask me to try and find one in my till for them. Fast forward to today. The coins are rarer than they used to be, but they're still also sought after by less people. A lady comes up to my till, buys a few things with a total of $3.50, and pays with exact change, one of the coins being 50p. Naturally, I glance at it and remarked it was one of the Beatrix 50p's. Woman, me, just for reference. That's one of those Potter 50p's. Haven't seen one in a while. Oh, I'm sorry, can I take that back? I've got 4 of them and I want to give all 5 to my granddaughter. So I give it back to her and she can give me a £1 coin. She now needs 50p change. Sorry about that. I've been trying to track these coins down for months and I just got this one, Beatrix Potter seal, from across the road there. Oh, really? Which ones have you gotten so far then? I've got the duck, squirrel, hedgehog, and seal. At this point, I notice the queue is growing, so I start fumbling around for a 50p to give her as change. By chance, I look down and happen to notice the Peter Rabbit 50p was half buried in my till, the last coin she needed. I quickly fished it out, turned it face up so the lady didn't see the design, and gave her the receipt. Well, good luck finding that last one, madam. Hopefully it turns up soon. Thank you. Have a good shift. She walks away, but does not get far before looking at her change to put it in her purse. She turns around and looks at me, now serving another customer. She walks past my till and silently mouths, "Thank you." I nodded my head and smiled. Rarely have I seen anyone leave our store looking as overjoyed as she was. Definitely the highlight of my day. You know, that's nice. It's nice to see that it wasn't some weird, rude interaction where she said she was going to come back and kick your ass once your shift was up or something stupid like that. Also, I like collectible coins. You know, as a kid, I always wanted to collect all of the state quarters we have here in the U.S., because we didn't have all 50 when I was growing up just yet. Growing up in Washington State, I had to wait quite a while before we got our quarter, but we finally did, and I thought it was pretty cool, you know? And now we have more than the 50 states because we just started kind of doing whatever the hell. I don't know. There's a lot of quarters out there, man. TMI. Sir, I can make SIM and assist you with your cell phone problems, not to listen to your love problems. Can make SIM and what? Anyway, what's this story about? Like I said in my previous post, I work for a cell phone company, and sometimes me and my colleagues have some very interesting meetings with our clients. So, here's something that happened to me today at work. So this morning was a slow one. I was chatting with a colleague who was selling cell phones when one of my clients approached me. Here's how that dialogue went. Hello, sir. How can I help you today? Hello, I'd like to block a number. Sure, if you can give me your phone, I can block that number. Oh, I wasn't talking about my phone. You see, I have another number under my name, but it's A who it's using. Don't know who A is, by the way. Okay, I said. I was confused. You see, A is messing and calling with B. I want to stop B to contact A. Can you do that? Don't know who B is either. Well, sir, you can block the number or close the contract, and a number of A, and a number of A, would die. I don't want to delete the contract of a cell phone, or sorry, not of a cell phone. It's very confusing that you went with A and B. It just doesn't flow right. Maybe 1 and 2 next time? Let me try that again. I don't want to delete the contract of A's cell phone. Can't you do something else? Sorry, sir, that's beyond my capability. Well, maybe you can call the assistant helpline and ask them. I will do that then. And he leaves. My colleague saw my interactions and my face at the end and asked if it was all okay and if the assistance was difficult. I was like, either that man's a protective father trying to protect his daughter, or his wife/girlfriend is cheating on him with someone else. Best not to meddle in that sort of thing, even if you could. Customer insisted we have a product we've never carried. Oh, they love doing that. I work in a grocery store, and I'm standing in front of the dairy case making the order for the weekend. Customer comes up and asks me where the pints of coconut milk are. I tell her that we don't carry it refrigerated, but we have it shelf-stable in cans, in what we call the grocery aisle. What? Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to stop this for just a second. You work in a grocery store, and you have a specific aisle that you call the grocery aisle? What the hell do you guys sell otherwise? She insisted that she buys it here all the time. I responded by saying, well, I order all the dairy alternatives, and we don't carry that, as I turn and walk away. Like, damn, I work here. I think I would know what we sell and we don't. While I'm at it, another time a customer asked where the alcohol was. Told him we don't sell that. Kept insisting we did. I looked at him and said, well, since you know it all, good luck finding it, and walked away. Our store is only 5 aisles. Pretty obvious there's no alcohol. Oh, okay, so you work in a tiny store. I thought it was like a Safeway or something like that, where there's 30 aisles or something crazy. The rudeness of some people is just insane. I don't put up with it anymore. Once it's apparent they aren't listening, I remove myself from the situation before I say something to get in trouble. I'm actually kind of surprised that you haven't. I'm very surprised about that. Well, since you know it all, good luck finding it. You know, that's the sort of thing I'd get in trouble for. Some idiot put this cake's writing in cursive. Oh no. In college, I worked for a floral shop that shared a space with a bakery. We had the space for both businesses, I don't know why I started lisping, to operate, and it naturally was a good partnership. The story takes place near the end of my senior year. I was 6 weeks shy of graduating with 2 degrees. Although I cared about the stores and wanted them to do well, my nonsense tolerance had dropped significantly. One day, a woman came to me for balloons for her son's 2nd birthday party. She had already picked up her cake. Woman, grumpily tossing her balloon choices at me. Ugh, I can't believe the bakery. Oh, is there something wrong? Yes, look at this cake. She opens the box. It's a nice looking cake, decorated with icing and trains. A scrolling script says, "Happy 2nd birthday, Jackson." Don't you see it? I think it's a lovely cake. It's in cursive. Why the hell would they put it in cursive? He's 2. Oh, well, it'll take me a couple of minutes to fill these balloons. I bet you could take it back and they could scrape off that old lettering, refrost the blank space, and rewrite it for you. Clearly hasn't heard a word I said. I can't believe someone is so stupid to think this is okay. Me yelling above her, "Can your son even read?" She immediately fell silent, blushed a deep purple, and was silent as well while I filled her balloons. She paid without a word. I mean, yeah, come on. Look, that may not have been what you asked for. I get it. Hey, that's not what I wanted. But sometimes you gotta put shit in perspective, okay? Is the 2-year-old gonna be upset about the cursive? No. I think your 2-year-old will be okay. And like most babies do, sit there looking like a little nerd having a giggle puss of a time. Don't worry about it. Kid's gonna be fine. Made a grown man cry today. Oh no, what did you do? So I work at a pet store. My family owns it. We do boarding, daycare, training, grooming, and retail. I had a regular come in a few months back, and he wasn't doing too well financially since becoming disabled. He brought in his dog for grooming, and I noticed he had a large amount of fleas. I called and informed him. I let him know that I would give his other dog a flea bath for cheap so he could take care of it. Once he got there, he tried to pay with a care credit card that the state had given him. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, we don't take that card, so he gave me his card information so I could charge him when he got paid. I sent him with some flea and tick topical we sell over the counter. Well, the day came for me to run his card. He called me to remind me. I thanked him, got off the phone, and didn't charge him. Today, he called realizing he hadn't been charged. I told him I didn't plan on doing it and was happy to be able to help. He couldn't talk for a bit, trying to compose himself. I got off the phone knowing I had made someone's day better. I know how hard it can be living on disability. My mom's on it. Sometimes even the littlest of things can help. It's gotta be insanely impossible. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, and I am a lot, but when you're on disability, aren't you also really at risk every 5 seconds of that money being taken away from you if you earn like a penny extra? Whether it's from work or not, if you get any extra money, oh, it's all gone. Like, what? I'm not sure if that is true. That's just something I had heard before, so you can't quote me on it, even though this is all audio. So anyway, a long time ago in a galaxy far away, I was a young soldier. I loved the army. I wanted to make it my career. I did it for a long time. I got injured. I couldn't do the job I was trained on anymore, so I got out and looked for other jobs. I do medical screening now. I'm older than everyone but 2 people in the entire building. On to the story. My immediate supervisor is 24. She's fairly young. A person didn't like her vitals and insisted that my boss did them wrong. There was absolutely no way her blood pressure was that high. You don't know what you're doing. That kind of horseshit. I came back from a break and this woman points at me and goes, "I want your boss doing it. Him, you, show her how to do this." I said, "Lady, she's my boss." She goes, "I don't have time for this. Read my vitals and deal with her after." My boss kind of smiled and I took her seat. I ran vitals again and got the same result. I said, "Well, I got the same results here. Unfortunately, I need a supervisor to sign off on a correction." Sort of true, but not really. Let me get my boss. I stood up and turned to her and said, "Hey, when you get the chance, can you confirm these corrections?" She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, but as soon as I get back, I'll knock that out." Sorry, ma'am, I can't overrule my boss. Can't imagine why her blood pressure was that high. A customer waits for service despite an obvious medical emergency. Oh boy, this ought to be good. When I, 29, started at my current place of employment several years back, I worked the checkout counter. One particular morning, I had a grand mal seizure out of nowhere. I don't remember the seizure itself or the state immediately after the seizure, called being postictal. It's like I was stalking the wall with cigarettes and then I blinked and the paramedics were there trying to get me to go to the hospital with them. I distinctly remember telling them that they had the wrong person. I was fine. I was trying to ring up this woman for her newspaper and she didn't seem to know what the big deal was either. It's like everything was normal aside from everyone telling me I needed help. After a couple of minutes, I agreed to go with them and started to believe what they were telling me when I felt the lump on my head from my dead fall into metal shelving. Ooh! Fast forward to my release from the hospital. My new neurologist wanted to know if there was security footage so he could see what happened since I had no memory of it. I was in the office with my boss watching the footage and couldn't believe it. While I was convulsing on the floor behind the counter, the woman with the newspaper had been standing there the entire time. The seizure lasted 3 minutes. In fairness to her, there isn't anything you can do for a seizure other than protect someone's head, turn them on their side, and wait. But to wait for service and act like everything is fine? I still don't have the words. How could someone just carry on like nothing is wrong? My mind is blown to this day. Now, normally I do my best. I really do my best to play devil's advocate here. Not to say that that lady's the devil, but I can't imagine for 1 second just hanging out. "Oh, you're having a seizure? I don't give a f***. I'm gonna wait for my goddamn newspaper because that's a little bit more f***ing important right now. I don't give a crap. No, you'll be fine. Or not. I'm gonna get my newspaper. I don't care." It's gross. It's gross. Sure, you can't do anything. I get it. But maybe you could at least, I don't know, f*** off? Like, how about that? What about that? I'm just saying. Listen to basic instructions. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Okay, here's a story from right after the lockdown ended. The clothing store I worked at was running with with limited capacity and a small group of friends had come in to get an item customized in our tailor shop. By coincidence, the tailor was in the bathroom, so I had to make sure they'd be engaged for a couple of minutes. So I told them to check out our sample embroidery and our selection of buttons and patches, normal stuff. Then I remembered people were really self-conscious about touching public surfaces at this time, so I pointed out the large bottle of hand sanitizer we kept on the counter. This was a huge gallon bottle with a pump on top. I warned them only to push the nozzle down about a quarter of the way to get an adequate amount for your hands. I even demonstrated it. Well, the first person did as I said and got a small amount to sanitize themselves, but the friend behind them proceeded to push the nozzle most of the way down and glop the huge blob of sanitizing gel in their hand, filling their entire palm. As she yelped in surprise, the first friend asked why she didn't heed my instructions, to which she sheepishly replied I wasn't paying attention. It was a good chuckle for all of us as she used the giant blob to clean herself all the way down past her elbows. If anyone's curious why a sanitizer bottle would dispense so much, I think it might have been a modified body wash dispenser, like the kind used in communal showers based on the shape and size. It happens. Hell, even the tiny bottles will give me way too much these days. It's ridiculous. We closed at 5. Oh, feel like I know where this is going. I work in a camera store, and if you're in the store before closing, we'll take care of you until you buy something or wander out. Lately, I've been counting minutes to close, and then right on the hour, the doors get shuttered and locked. Open sign turned off, and the phone's set to night ringer. Today we closed at 5. I made a beeline for the front doors and was halfway across the floor when the doors opened. A man and his wife start to enter. The man sees me, leans back outside to read our hours, turns to his wife and says the words I never thought I'd hear a customer say. Oh, they just closed. Let's come back tomorrow. Thank you, sir. You are my hero. Also, we're closed tomorrow. But it's the thought that counts. Oh, man. All you gotta do is be nice and normal and respect the rules and understand that you as a customer are not any more special or less special than the other customers that also go there. Just because you showed up, bam, right at the closing second does not mean, shoot, can you just help me? No, we're closed. You know, me and my staff would like to go home. We've got shit to do before we can go home, as a matter of fact. We gotta close these tills. We gotta balance that shit. We gotta be ready before we're allowed to leave. So could be 20 minutes, could be another hour. Trust me, I've run plenty of UPS stores in my time as well. It's awful. But as long as customers were nice, even if I was closed in the middle of counting my drawer, if someone came up 20 minutes after closing and they just needed to drop a package off, I'd open the door, grab it, and go, look, my shut down. I can't give you a receipt, but I can take it. Okay, cool. Have a great night. Not a big deal. But if you're a dick about it, I'm not even going to look up at the door. You have an employee here that smokes and texts. What? I work at a pet store, primarily responsible for maintaining/caring for our fish selection, birds, reptiles, small animals, and the like. Sometimes I sell them to folks who actually have a clue about owning an animal. This happened yesterday. I'm on a long 9-hour shift and having a smoke break outside the shop. There's a long sidewalk, and I always smoke far away from the doors as we're a heavy traffic location, and kids/animals are always coming in and out. I finish up and head back inside, where I'm immediately flagged by a family looking for a cat scratcher. The particular one they want is missing its tag, and I can't find its location in its aisle, so I take out my phone and hang with the family, showing them our online prices, which we'll honor for them. They get the scratcher, hours go by, and at closing, a cashier buddy comes up and tells me about this woman who was raving to her a while ago. Cashier friend, she was going on and on about how there's an employee that smokes, they work in a pet store, and text? Should they be spoken to or fired? Oh, no, that wasn't a question. They should be spoken to or fired. I sort of just shrugged. Me? So she meant me. Nice. Manager friend is now walking by. Hey, manager, I need to be fired? I was smoking directly into the animal habitats while Snapchatting their purple faces as they shrieked and suffocated. Expect a corporate complaint any second now. Ooh, damn, you're screwed. And then I went home, twirling my mustache, the most evil pet department worker ever. I do have to say, if someone who works anywhere, whether it's a pet store or the post office or Walmart, is out for a smoke break or out on a break or whatever, and they also have a phone, and your initial reaction to not liking someone smoking or the fact that they have a phone, you do too. Yeah, I know you do. You literally can't be a human anymore without a cell phone of some kind, sweetheart, so don't even, all right? If your reaction to that is they deserve to lose their job, I hope someone breaks your nose. Just one time. No, you let it heal, whatever. Maybe it sets a little bit crooked because that's just some evil shit. It is. I know you might think I'm being dramatic, but look, I've said before, look, if a job is totally evil and abusive towards you, there are other ones out there that you could probably get pretty quickly. However, doesn't mean that it's that easy. Just because I say something doesn't mean it's true or it's that easy and simple, okay? I've had to get jobs. I've had to get lots of jobs in the past before, man. It's not always easy, despite how many are available to us, as we know from the LinkedIn nightmare hellhole that is recruiting hell. I digress. You're a piece of garbage if you wish someone to lose their job or demand it in some way, shape, or form because they personally do something that doesn't affect you, but you don't like that. Like smoking or having a phone, you psycho a-hole. All right, what's the timer at? 47 minutes. Now that might be a new record for how quick I was about a rant. What some people won't do for balloons. What they won't do for balloons? The company I work for has a policy. We do not inflate outside balloons. Just the Mylar/foil balloons that we sell on display at the front of the store. We can't inflate the latex balloons we sell either. We aren't safety rated for anything but our foils, and helium is getting scarce as it is. Is it now? I thought the low-grade garbage helium we use for balloons was still doing all right. Employees can be reprimanded or fired for filling outside balloons, and our policy is part of the training for the balloon station, and that's fine. Corporate is upfront and honest about that, and it's their right to decide. For the most part, our customers are understanding too, but when I get a problem customer, the problem is balloons about a third of the time. I already know. I feel like I know where this is going. The dude's gonna be a bitch about, oh, really? You're not safety rated for a balloon? Yep, see, or something like that, because you know where asshole customers' minds are going, right? Some people offer to pay for the helium straight up, which we don't have an option for, or ask to have our balloons rung up, then just fill their balloons instead. Come on, who's gonna know? I always tell them no, it's not worth my job. Had someone threaten to call corporate about it, and I said, please do. I'm sure they'll be happy I'm obeying the policy. But one particular lady takes the cake. She came in one night while a cashier and I, a manager, were on duty. She was either the only one in the store or other customers were back out of earshot. She came in with a SpongeBob figural balloon and asked the cashier to fill it for her. She appropriately told the lady, no, we can't. Lady then asked to speak to the manager, so she rang for me. I gave her the same company policy and she got super polite. Please, wouldn't I fill this up for a little girl's birthday? I told her, I'm sorry, I can't. It's not worth my job. She goes, oh, you're not going to lose your job over this? I'm thinking, wow, this must be our new CEO if she can make that kind of call. But again, I told her no. Offering to pay me extra, still said no. I'm not doing funny business in my drawer and I can't mark something like that in the register if I wanted to. I kept saying sorry, no, until I saw it wasn't getting through, then turned to walk away. Then the super nice act went out the window. From behind me, she says, yeah, go ahead and leave. I'll just do it myself when you're not looking. I silently turned back around and put my hands on the helium tank nozzle. She immediately goes, oh, thank you. I knew we could come to an agreement, and I removed the nozzle from the tank, intending to put it in the office if I needed to. She yells, you're an a-hole. You're lucky I'm on probation and have a kid, and left. The cashier just goes, wow, what does that even mean? I mean, I guess you're lucky I'm on probation, but were you threatening her with a child? I know. I'm making a joke. I'm trying to be funny. The day I pretended to be someone's dad. Oh, well, this should be quite fun. The owner is a family friend and asked me if I could cover because they were short on staff. So I think this counts. This takes place in a small convenience store. There wasn't much to do, so I decided to walk around and maybe reorganize misplaced items when suddenly a kid, maybe 3 to 4 years old, holds my hand. I kind of look around to see if someone lost their kid, and I see a young lady gave me a go-on gesture. I'm a bit confused as to what she wants me to do, but whatever, I was bored and this kid looked cooler than my friends. So I asked if he liked candy, and I asked which one he liked. He didn't say anything and just pointed to some gummy worms. That's cool, me too. I like the sour ones because I can make this face. This makes the kid laugh. I love you, Daddy, hugs me. To be honest, I freaked out a bit and thought this kid couldn't possibly be mine as I looked over to the young woman and she started tearing up. I love you too, son. The boy ran back to the lady. The lady walks up to me and hugs me. I'm sorry for that. My husband passed away 2 days ago. This is the first time I saw him talk since that day. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you. They proceeded to leave. The boy is waving his gummy worms at me and I do the sour face and he does the same. I mean, I would have a little mini heart attack too. I wouldn't know what to do in that situation, but I'm glad that you rolled a nat 20 the entire way through. Knowing me, I probably would have hit a 14, but who knows what the next roll would have been. You can't have the leftover change. What? Customer came in, attempted multiple times to purchase gas this morning, and his 3 cards were all declined. I was in a good mood and won $200 on last night's Mega Millions, so I figured I'd spot him a 20 for gas. He then goes to the pump, pumps $5, comes back in to demand change. Change for pump 3, please. What? Change for pump 3. I only pumped $5. Look, I offered you $20 in gas. I wasn't planning on giving you the change. Let me speak to the fucking manager. Manager's here Monday through Friday, 5 to 8. Give me his number. Sorry, but the company does not provide work phones, so I can't give you his personal number. Where's your corporate number? Now yelling. Outside on the door. Fast forward 2 hours, cops show up. Cop tells me someone said there was a cashier here that was refusing to return people's change. I explained to the officer that I used my own money to help someone out, but wasn't about to give them my change from the pump for gas that I paid for. Officer asked to see the tapes, so I call up the manager. Irritated, he comes in on a day off. About 20 to 30 minutes pass and the manager arrives and shows the officer the tapes, and they come back out of the office apologizing to the manager and left. Manager then tells me if that guy came back to the store, refuse sale, and tell him he's banned. Guess it doesn't pay to be nice. I can't believe the dude didn't get in trouble for wasting the police's time. The police's? The cops' time. We'll say the cops. That sounds way less awful. Wasting their time on something so stupid. Normally, yeah, if a cashier refused to give me my change, oh yeah, we're gonna have a problem. But it wasn't his change. And the dude called the police? What a baby. So 3 kids and a scooter came into the store. What? Oh no. Let's set the scene real quick. I'm a supervisor at one of the main grocery stores in Australia. I'm currently filling in a shift at another nearby store. At the time, I was manning the self-serve checkouts, and I noticed 3 kids come in by themselves, no parent, 1 pushing a scooter. Now, these kids are probably about 10 to 15 years old. They looked like your typical troublemaking kid, you see, running around everywhere, although they did comply with instructions when I told them they couldn't ride the scooter in the store. One of them grabbed a Kit Kat and purchased that and started to eat it while the others grabbed a 24-pack of soft drink cans. Soft drink cans. Thank you, grandfather. The 2 with the soft drink proceeded to come through self-serve and start to put money into the machine, but then they noticed they were short. While they are discussing urgently about why they were short and did that Kit Kat guy spend their money, one realized they'd lost a $5 note. I was feeling in a good mood and spontaneously decided to cover the $3 for them. They were polite and said thanks. But the reason I'm writing this is for what happened next. One of the kids found the $5 they dropped on the floor outside the store, came back and offered it to me, which I refused and said they could keep it. They then asked that I take it, and if any other customers were a few bucks short, I use it to cover that extra, as their way of paying it forward. I accepted, put the money in our loose change tin, and sort of wished their parents were around so I could tell them they raised some awesome kids. That's very great. That makes me happy to hear. A lot of these were a lot better than I was assuming, and I think it's because I'm very jaded. None of these were nearly as bad as I was expecting. Like, the bad ones weren't all that bad. You know what's not bad at all? Our merch over at EmKayshop.com. Why don't you head on over there, get yourself something nice, and use code BOOBIN at checkout to get yourself free shipping. Haven't done one of those in a while. Gotcha!